Good morning, friends. I'm going to show you real quick of how to start thinking about your comic strip and your comic book that you're going to be creating on your own. Now, you've read three texts about three different artists and authors who created comic books, and they all kind of have a similar story in the way that they were either struggling when they grew up and they found comfort in drawing, or that they came across challenges in their ways of becoming authors. So that's pretty cool. Definitely during this time where all of us are going through a challenge. So I thought that we should try to be a little creative and try our best to get some positivity going on. So the directions are to first choose one of the options to write about. And you can choose to do some sort of happy or funny memory. You can do a quick mystery story, or you can do a quick action story. Make sure that these are appropriate, that we aren't using anything that we wouldn't use in the classroom, any language, any gestures, anything like that. We want to make sure that it is appropriate for everyone and it's just a good, positive storyline because we just want things to be positive right now. Um, and what we need to do is we need to write a rough draft of our ideas that we would want our comic to be about. And it is going to be quick. You're limited to only 6 cartoon boxes. So think of each box as a event. You can, if you wanted to, you really could make more scenes, but by splitting those boxes. But just know that each box is like one scene. So down here, I would start to do some sort of brainstorm. This is what we talk about when we start to think and plot what we want to do. And I want to do maybe a happy memory. I'm going to go and think about some of my happy memories and things that make me laugh. And I'm going to think about a memory that I had when I went to the beach with my family. So I'm going to write that. With family. Now, if you guys have never been to the beach, I'm going to explain to you real quick. And the reason why I'm going to do that is so that I can get some really good ideas going on about how I'm going to draw this or how I'm going to explain this to my reader. And you're going to ask, why am I going to do that? Well, if you remember back to the eight questions from Jerry Craft, he wrote about how you not only need to think about what you're going to write, like your story plot, but you need to think about everything that goes on in your story. You have to think about the color of the shoes of the person you're saying is going to walk in the room. You can't just say the teacher's going to walk in the room, is what Jerry says. You have to think about what the teacher's wearing, what she's looking like, what kind of facial expression does she have on her face, because you have to write all of that. So by me going back and trying to describe the beach with my family is going to help me create a really good picture. So I'm going to start putting some bullet points down here just so that I can get some ideas going. And if I think about the beach, the first thing I can think about is temperature. Well, the beach was very hot. It was extremely hot. And I think it was probably up in the 90s or the 95s. It was very, very, very hot. What happened when, or I'm gonna go, what else was it? What did the sky look like? Was it cloudy? Was it sunny? And the sun was all the way out. There were no clouds to help us at all with the sun rays. We had sun all in the sky. What else? When you go to the beach, again, if you guys haven't been, sometimes it's windy because you're right by the end of the land, and sometimes the wind picks up on the ocean more so than on land. So in this case, it was pretty windy. Now I can start thinking about like what I saw. Now these right here are kind of kind of things that you feel. So any sense we're trying to get some sensory details going on here. Um, And now I can start to kind of go about with creating a scene, creating actions and things like that. And so my scene, there were a lot of people there. And I remember there were a lot of like beach chairs and beach umbrellas. So these are going to kind of help me start drawing what I want to draw in my comic strips and in my scenes. And now I can start really thinking about like a story plot. My scenes I'm going to be drawing about. And so what I'm going to do is really quickly kind of write in one or two sentences, just a quick storyline of what is going to happen in my comic. And I know I have to do it pretty short. So I have to think about my beginning and my middle and my end. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to verbally, which means say it out loud first, and then I'm going to write it down. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys a little story that happened when I was at the beach with my family. And it all started after we found a spot in the sand, and we finally put our stuff down, and we were deciding about what everyone wanted to do. Some of us wanted to go into the water, some of us wanted to go for a walk, and some of us just wanted to sit in the sun. So me and my brother decided that we wanted to go for a walk because we wanted to explore. And so him and I went walking down the beach, and we came across a tide pool. And this is where I'm going to get into my middle now. The beginning of my story was finding a spot and figuring out what we wanted to do. The middle now is happening now. And so a tide pool is where a little bit of the ocean, when the ocean rises a little bit during the high tide, it'll leave behind a little pool in the sand when the tide goes away. And in this little tide pool, sometimes sea animals will live there and hang out. And they can be very large sometimes, these tide pools. And we came across a really large tide pool, which I've never seen before. So we decided to go and explore the tide pool. Well, as we get closer to this one part, and my brother starts to put his feet into the water, I noticed all these little tiny crabbies. These little crabs were everywhere. So I told my brother that maybe this isn't a good idea and that we should walk out of the tide pool. Well, he does not believe me and he keeps on walking through. And then we see a little claw sitting on top of the ocean floor or on the tide pool floor underneath the water. And it's a very colorful claw, very colorful. It's blue and red and very beautiful and vibrant. And so, I'm thinking to myself, I shouldn't touch a very vibrant and colorful claw that's sitting on top of the ocean, the floor, because that's how crabs find their prey. They hide, and then when something comes across them, they snap it. So I decided that that wasn't a good idea, but my brother thought it was a good idea to get a stick and to try to get the crab. Once he did that, we realized that this crab was super angry. It jumped out so far out of the water. I'm telling you, it vaulted out of this ocean floor and it started chomping towards my brother. This crab also wasn't small. The little claw was very deceiving. This crab was probably the size of my brother's foot, and my brother's taller than me. So this crab starts chasing my younger brother and just trying to snap him, snap him, snap him, snap him. And finally, my brother runs away, trips over some coral, and face plants into more of the tide pool. And he's screaming, and he keeps running and running and trying to get out of the tide pool as fast as he can to get away from this crab. And he does. And that's the end of my story. So that's what I'm going to decide to put in my comic strip. What I need to do is kind of write down what I had. My beginning here was to find a place in the sand, and in my scenes, I'm going to have family decides what to do. Play in ocean. walk or sit on blanket. And now I can go into my middle here. Brother. So, sometimes we do things that don't really make sense on the computer. We can always either fix what we did or always do this undo button. If we don't like what we did and we don't really know how to fix it, we can always just do undo button. Just a reminder there. So the middle, brother side, go for a walk, come across tide, pool, brother mess, whoops, with crab. And then my end here is where the crab starts chasing my breath. See, I did it again. You need to undo if you don't know what you did. End is crab starts running after my brother. Brother trips and tide pool while trying to run away. And that is going to be the end of my story because it's not very long. You can see that I've given some room for me to kind of really get some good details and good drawings going on, but you really don't want to get too many details or too many scenes going on since you only have very limited space. I have brainstormed a basic kind of sensory details and beginning, middle, end of my comic. I am ready now to go and start putting in some details. So if you go back to the 3 texts that we read this week, and all of them discuss how important it is for you to give really good details to your characters, what they look like, and possibly what they might sound like. So just keep that in mind of everything you've read about so far and how much time and effort these people take in order to create these comic strips. So the second part after you have brainstormed is to choose one of the options. I can either create my comic strip on pen and paper, and there's a template I'm going to share with you that you can do it on, or just one to follow. So if you have a piece of paper at home and you want to do it on there, I know not all of you have printers. I have like not even really a good printer. So what I would do is I would just take that piece of paper and just copy those boxes just from like looking at the screen. Or you can go online and click on this mini lesson to kind of help you through how to use this. So I'm going to kind of show you a little start on both, and then based on this little start on both, maybe you'll get an idea which one you want to do. So below I have here the piece of paper one, if you want to do a pen and paper. And each one of these boxes are a scene. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And with these, you can put in the beginning, middle, and end of your entire story. So here, I would put us coming to the beach together, maybe us finding a seat, discussing where we're going, and just kind of going through that part. You'll have to play around with it, see where you can fit things, where you can't fit things, and all that good stuff. The other option is, I'm going to put the link down here for the next part. You can go and create a storyboard. So with this, you have all of these options, and you have to take an account. You have to take and look about what all these little tabs are, so you can get a really good idea about what you are doing, and what you have, what options you have. So here, you see it opened up to just 3 boxes, but I told you guys you can have up to 6. So if you want more than 6, you're gonna hit the layout button, and you would hit a traditional storyboard, and that will give you 6 boxes to work with eventually. Or I guess you could do this, add and delete cells. You can add up to 6. Now premium accounts can get more. We don't have premium, so you're just gonna have to go with 6. You can either go a completely long ways like this, or you can have a 2x3 box and be done with that. So, and after you click how you want your layout to be, you're gonna update storyboard. There we go. And now I have 6 boxes. So up here I have scenes, characters, textables, shapes, infographs, web and wireframes, science, worksheets, and upload. And here are all the things that you're going to be able to use for backdrops or for creating your comic strip. And when you hit on any of these tabs, it comes with these other options. So my scene is a beach. So I'm going to be looking for something like beachy or outdoor or something. Now a town, that's not going to be anywhere near a beach. Entertainment, maybe, but I think that's more as like a movie background or something like that. Home indoor, no. Home outdoor, no. Let's see if we can find it. Maybe it'll be outdoor in general. Oh, look at that. Okay. So it'll come up with all these here, and you can scroll on down to find the one that you want to use. It looks like I'm going towards desert here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on, and click on this one. That looks good. So you click on it and you drag it to the window, or the little the box you want to use, and you can edit scene, give it nighttime, daytime. It was not raining, it was not sunset, but you have a good idea about, remember we talked about those sensory details? Let's see here. Remember I gave my little sensory details here, and I wrote it was 90 to 95 degree weather and it was sun all day. So I definitely don't want to pick night. I definitely don't want to pick rain. So I'm going to do that. And I suppose you can kind of show what you want your sky to look like. Oh, that's weird. You can do you have a lot of options here. You can play around with all of this. I know you guys are like a lot more technology advanced than I am, so I'm interested to see what you guys come up with. After you lay down your backdrop, you can get some characters. And this also has all these different types. So I'm going to start with my adults because I have my family. So I'm going to pick the bald guy because my dad does not have hair. And you can do a bunch of options. You can color his hair, skin, eyes, jacket, blah, blah, blah. And you can do a lot of things. You can edit the pose here. And this is where you're going to get all of those little sensory details, everything that a comic book person needs to be thinking about. So we're looking, if I go back to what we're doing in the beginning part, we're trying to find a place in the sand. So I need to make him look like he's looking for something. Let's see. Well, he definitely doesn't need his eyes to be doing anything else. So I think this is good. You can change the way that they are holding things. Nope. I like that one. That one looks like he's pointing somewhere. That looks like he's walking. So you can do all these different things about everything. There's so many options. After you've done that, you can update pose, and there you have it. You can move him around, you can make him smaller, and that's that. So I need to get the rest of my friends. With this, you can do a lot of different, I suppose, like outfits too. Um, see, I think that one's like people at the beach. Oops. I don't have like an older guy at the beach. You just have to move around with it and go with it. Oh, look, here's a dad looking person. Look, he even has socks. I like it better. If you find one that you like better and you want to get the other guy away, you can always hit the X button and that's going to delete him. If you want to make a copy of him because you want to use him in another scene, you can hit this button here and that's going to copy him. You can always put him in another box there. So there's plenty of awesome things you can do with this. You can tell now I've got two dads, and you can continue working on the rest of your boxes. When you're done and you want to send it to me, what you'll have to do is you'll have to log in, and you can log in with your Clever account. And that's just going to ask you to log in with Google, and it's going to be pretty easy. So make sure that you have hit this button when you are logging in. So you have to do it that way. And then Clever, this other box will come up. And then it'll ask you to title your comic strip. So maybe I'll just title it A the Beach and save storyboard. And then this will be what you have here. What you can do is you could download it. You can print it. If you hit the print button, you can also get it to have a download. Let's see what happens. Downloading you can make it into any of these. I would say probably a PDF would be best. And come up with this part right here. So this will come up into your files on your laptop. So when you go in to turn it in online on the Google Classroom, you have to go and upload from a file from your laptop. And I'll have an how-to video. Actually, I won't because I have a student laptop. So you'll have to go into your files on your laptop and upload it from there. If that doesn't work and you know how to take a picture of it on your phone and send it to me, then we could do it that way. So, just come tell me if you're having issues and we'll try to work around it. All right. If you have any questions, make sure you're communicating with us and we're here to help you. Take care.